Welcome to Paint a Beautiful Picture. This is episode number 206, Rebellion. There are a lot of interesting ramifications to this word. We're going to look at a few of them. In the United States of America, because of the way that England treated the colonists rebelled against the rule of Britain. And I would say in many ways for good reason. And because of that rebellion, they literally fought for freedom. They contended that Britain didn't even know what was going on within the colonies and certainly couldn't govern effectively from way over there, and with no real strong interest in what was happening here on the soil of America. And so they rebelled and they fought and they won. Many times wars have to do with rebellion. There have been times in certain situations in the world, and I could talk about lots of countries, but where people have rebelled against their ruling state. Frankly, the Civil War was about that certain states rebelled against the idea that the federal government was going to tell them what they were and were not going to do, and they didn't want to hear it, and they rebelled. Certainly there have been rebellions of Native Americans, and for good reason, no question about that. There have been rebellions, uprisings of people over in Africa, over Dutch colonizers, French colonizers, Belgian colonizers, trying to tell them what their life needed to look like when they were already living perfectly acceptable lives, and they didn't appreciate someone else coming in and telling them how it had to be. We can certainly find rebellion in teenagers, but I want you to know we could find rebellion a whole lot sooner than that. You can tell your 2-year-old, I want you to put on your shoes. I'm not going to do it, and you can't make me. Well, there's rebellion right there coming straight out of their mouth. You can even find it in a 1-year-old or 1.5-year-old. My younger grandson, and he wasn't but maybe 19 months old, picked up a Tonka truck, and it was metal. And I already could read that boy's mind. I said, do not hit your brother with that truck. And he picked it up, and he just whipped it straight at his brother's head and hurt his brother reasonably significantly. That same grandson of mine, I said to him one time, do not touch that. And he did this, put his finger right in front of my face, walked over and touched it. Oh, you are not going to tell me what to do. That is the root of rebellion. You need to love people, even in the midst of their rebellion. That's very challenging. You need to care about them enough to get in their way when they are your child. A child needs to learn to cooperate, which we talked about quite a bit last week. A child needs to be a team player. They need to understand that, yes, there is value to an extent in being an independent individual, but let's be realistic. Most of us have quite a significant level of dependence upon others. Let me establish this for you. You can feel very welcome to share this with your children. You are incapable of getting oil out of the ground, processing it, getting it somewhere where you can put gasoline inside of your car. You are dependent on tons of people throughout that process so you can drive to the grocery store. Oh, let's talk about that. You are dependent upon farmers who grow the crops, harvesters who harvest the crops, canners who put that stuff into packaging of some sort. Even fresh produce is in fact packaged. The truck driver who brings it there, the stockist who puts it on the shelf. Yeah, you're pretty dependent on other people for your food. You are incredibly dependent on people for your clothing. You do not grow cotton. You do not grow linen. You do not render your own leather and tan it. You do not make your own clothing. You do not make your own shoes, your own socks, your own underthings. You don't. You go and you buy it. You are dependent on people before you can even feed yourself, get dressed, or go anyplace. See what I mean? You're probably not nearly as independent as you think. Nor is your child. Your child can't get in the car and go to the grocery store on their own. Your child doesn't have the cash to pay for it when they get there. Your child doesn't produce their own clothing, and they certainly don't produce their own food, much less prepare it. They are far more dependent than they might want to acknowledge. And let's be truthful. We are emotionally dependent upon one another, and in a healthy relationship, that is incredibly appropriate. I need your support. I need your love. I need your care. I need your compassion. I need your patience. I need your grace. I need your understanding. Wow, I actually am quite a dependent person. As soon as we start to see that, it's actually a very healthy thing, and we need to let our children see that as well. The reason why it's a healthy thing is, in fact, we are very interdependent, and that is healthy. Codependency, wow, there's a whole nother topic for another day. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying acknowledging that I depend upon you for things, and you can depend upon me for things. And as we go along together in an interdependent relationship, it is actually helpful and healthy for both of us. And that is very true in a good family, in the average family. So I'm going to talk about it. Your family may not fit this, and I'm not saying it's all there is. I'm just using it as a descriptor. The mom's doing the laundry. The mom's cleaning the house. The mom's making meals. The mom's bathing the children. She's getting them dressed. She's getting them to school. She's getting them where they need to go. She's helping her husband by ironing his shirt and making sure that the things got picked up at the dry cleaner, so when he needs his suit, it's already ready. That's appropriate. And again, I'm only talking about averages here. A man goes to work. He consistently goes. He doesn't lay out. He doesn't go get wasted. He doesn't spend his paycheck on Friday before he even gets back home. He cares for his family. He pays the electric bill and pays the rent and provides a home for his family. He may be the person who goes to the grocery store and gets things because his wife has plenty enough to do already. He pitches in and helps in the house. He takes care of the yard. He makes sure that things are fixed. Not necessarily that he does it, but that he calls someone when there's a leak in the roof or the plumbing breaks or things go on with the car. We are, in fact, very interdependent, and we should be. So you come against this rebellion in your child as a little kid or a middle kid or a teenager, and it's gonna come. You need to have already been establishing the precedent that, in fact, we are all interdependent within our home. I take care of my responsibilities. Your other parent takes care of their responsibilities. We take care of our responsibilities together. We talk with one another, and we manage the household, and we have an agreement, and we work out differences, and we are here on your behalf as our children. And we expect that same level of commitment and interdependence out of you. And when rebellion comes up, I can do this myself. I know what I'm doing. I don't need you. It's interesting. Recently, I've had numbers of events of this with someone in my world. It really frustrates me quite a bit. But with my children, this is what I did. We ran across a patch of this, both of them, within a few days of each other. I can do it, and I don't need you. They're about 11 and 12. Now, remember, they both knew how to cook. They knew how to use a washing machine, and there was a school bus available to them. And I said, okay, great. Go ahead. What now? I said, yeah, go ahead. I won't cook for you. I won't touch a thing. You don't need me? Awesome. It only took about 3 days. My one son came to me and he said, Mom, I really need to. I said, oh, no. You don't need me. Remember? No, Mom, I do. I need to go too. I said, really? Because, yeah, that's not what I heard, and that's not how you've been acting. I literally forced him to humble himself and say, Okay, Mom, I was completely wrong. I do need you. I can't drive, and I do need to go here. Yes, I need you. And I emphasize to him, yeah, you're right, you do. And so playing this whole, I don't need you, don't tell me what to do, I can do it myself thing, yeah, that's not very smart. And it's not realistic or accurate. In fact, you do need me, and I'm thrilled that you do. And as long as you do, I'm going to take care of what you need. But I will not tolerate this junky attitude. I just won't. So let's not play this anymore. And I got to tell you, they did not have smart sons. And they know me. They knew, as I sometimes say, I don't have a reverse. You push and you think I'm going to back up? Whoa, you are dealing with the wrong person here. I don't have reverse. I put my heels down and I'm going to stand there. Yeah, I'm not too pushy. It's hard to push me. I'm not saying that's my best trait or my worst. I'm just acknowledging who I am. You need to let your kids know, oh, in fact, you do need me. And you can play this, I don't need you, don't tell me what to do thing, but you are a child. And as long as you are a child, and quite frankly, even after you become an adult, you will always need someone, and you will always need something. And so face it, my dear child, you do, in fact, need me, and you need others, and you need to learn how to acknowledge that, accept that, and stop all this other stuff. It's a hard thing, and sometimes it takes hard steps. If you have already allowed this to grow deep roots in your child's life, it is going to be a challenge for you, I'm pretty sure, to get past it. Woo! And it is going to be a challenge for you to get past it and to help your child get past it. But it's not impossible. So you need to start having discussions with them and literally showing them how many ways they depend upon you. And it's appropriate because you're the parent. You're the one who is, in fact, responsible for them. And again, as I've discussed before, you give them more and more responsibility as they are able to handle it until they are a mature, responsible young adult, and then it's all theirs. But in those middle years, somewhere between maybe 8 and 17, it has to be a very gradual process, and that rebellion needs to get resolved. So no, you're in error, and I'm not going to let you keep going down a road that's going to take you to trouble. And I'm going to stop you. And that means I'm going to get in your way. I'm going to take the steps necessary to prevent you from going in that direction. I'm going to talk about 2 specific instances with you that I think that most people will be able to understand. I had both a brother and a son who were fire starters. My brother did it a lot more dangerously than my son. My son did it in his bedroom, in a mobile home, on the floor with carpet, but inside of a coffee can. In other words, he contained it and he never burned anything up. I can't say that about my brother. Very foolish behavior, very rebellious against the norm and what was acceptable, and they both knew it. My folks didn't necessarily really handle it. I did. Oh, yes, I did. And I told my son, if you burn something down, especially if you burn down our house, we will have nowhere to live. Seriously, is that a good option to you? Well, no, of course not. Exactly. Got to stop this, my man. I get it. It's cool to watch fire and see things burn and feel the heat. I really do get that for some people. But you cannot do it anymore. Well, you know what? He didn't. He understood what that was and that I was dependent upon him to make sound decisions so that all of us could live safely. He understood that. He quit. My brother did not. No one got in his way. No one stopped him. Yeah, I'm not going to go there with all the ramifications, but let me tell you, you get in front of your kid and you stop them. Whatever measures it may take. Then I know someone whose son was very involved in drugs. They did not know how to get a hold of it or stop him. So pretty soon he's running drugs, hanging out with drug dealers. He was 16. Yeah, he was 16 years old, sitting in a car with his friend. A drug deal goes bad. His friend gets, please don't let your children be listening right now. I'm dead serious. They don't need to hear this. His friend gets shot in the head. This young kid gets brains literally splattered all over him. I cannot tell you how messed up he was for how long. Because his parents didn't have the gumption to stop him long before when they should have. My point is this: there are lots of forms of rebellion. Skipping school, doing drugs, getting wasted, participating in pornography, participating in very young, like I'm talking 12, 13, 14, premarital sexual activity, uh, land sakes, stealing, destroying property. There are so many evidences and ways of rebellion. Stealing cars, one of my other sons' ways of rebelling. You get in their face, you get in their way, and you stop them. And you help them understand the consequences that are going to come their way from you, from the law itself, from just the laws of nature. They're going to end up dead or in jail. And it's not a road you want to be on, and it's not a road I want you on, and I'm going to get in your way, and I'm going to keep you from it. That's all. Seriously. That is how you deal with rebellion. You get a hold of it, and you stop it. If you live with a very rebellious person, perhaps even as your mate as an adult, because no one ever dealt with rebellion in their life, I want to acknowledge to you, it is tough. It is. And you have to develop some intestinal fortitude, some guts, some strength and courage, and love them, care about them so much that when it is within your power, and it is with your child, possibly not with your mate, I grant you that, because they're already an adult, but with your child, it's definitely true. You get in their way, and you care enough to stop them in their tracks. You let them bear the weight of their consequences. If they're already in trouble with the law, if they've already destroyed something, they have to feel the weight of their actions. And you say to them, this is going to stop. This has got to stop. And it is going to stop. I will help you. If you're on drugs or alcohol, I will get you treatment. If you're participating in things you have no business in, I will lock you inside this house. I will drive you to school. I will pick you up from school. Every bit of the rest of your extracurricular activities will cease, effective immediately. I didn't say any of this was going to be simple. But if you really want to save your child's life, perhaps for real so they don't end up dead, but also so it is not a ruinous life or a life that never amounts to anything good, you have to get a hold of it when you see it, regardless of when that is, and love them enough to help them stop the rebellion and learn the importance of cooperation and interdependence. I know this has really been a topic today. I would love to hear from you. Leave me your questions, your comments, your suggestions, and please join us again soon on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.